everybody? It's Griffinlobster. First things first, if you didn't know what was going on in the introduction, you obviously haven't seen darkmindedsith's most recent YouTube poop. In case you haven't, link in the description. It is hilarious. Especially to me, considering it's all clips of me. And that was a little sample. It's absolutely hilarious, so I would recommend it to anybody. So check it out if you haven't. In other words, in other news, long time no list. I haven't done one of these videos in a long time, so it's time to do one. And you got people waiting on their scores to figure out if they did well or not. So I'm gonna stop leaving you hanging and get right into this. Let's do it. Part 8, numbers 15 through 11. Number 15 is Grand Theft Auto 4. That came out for the PS3 and the Xbox 360 on April 29th, 2008, and it came out for Windows on December 2nd, 2008. Grand Theft Auto 4 is definitely the best game of 2008. I'm okay, not to say that there weren't other great games that came out that year. Gears of War 2 was great. Fallout 3 was fantastic. I know I lost a lot of hours in that game. Haven't had a chance to play Dead Space yet, but heard that's good. Left 4 Dead was great. Metal Gear Solid 4 was great. Thank you, roommate. Yeah, so those are all great games, but Grand Theft Auto 4 was one that really affected me. It kind of got me really back into the Grand Theft Auto franchise. I like San Andreas quite a bit, and I kind of neglected it. I wasn't even that sure about getting Grand Theft Auto 4 when I did. I was so glad I did, because it is one of the most deep, expansive game worlds I've ever gamed in. It's huge, humongous. You can do anything you want to. It's sandbox gameplay. You can decide to do the quests, hang out with your in-game friends, if you will, or you can just decide to mow down some people on the sidewalk if you feel like it. Blow up a police station. It's all at your fingertips. You can do whatever you want to, whenever you want to, and that's an awesome game environment. I've heard a lot of complaints about this game, what about all the friends bother you too much? And first of all, people don't realize this, but you can turn that off. You don't need friends necessarily. I mean, they have perks and stuff like that, but you can definitely get through the game with no friends whatsoever if you so choose. So you can turn off your phone so they don't even call you. And if you're doing a quest, they'll call you and you can answer, and you'll have a default answer that says you can't do it and you won't lose, so it won't interrupt a quest or anything. I guess this should be called missions more. Quest sounds more medieval. You do quests in Oblivion, you do missions in Grand Theft Auto 4. But it's absolutely a huge, awesome, fun game, and I would recommend it to anybody looking for a good time. There you have it. Okay, number 14 is Halo for the Xbox. That came out November 15th, 2001 for the Xbox. Then it came out for Windows September 30th, 2003. Then it came out for Mac December 3rd, 2003. When I think of a game that defined my 8th grade to freshman year of social gaming with friends, it's Halo, hands down. Halo was one of the first first-person shooters that I honestly played a lot with friends. I did play GoldenEye a little bit, but I didn't play it that much. And Halo, everybody who had an Xbox had Halo, and it was always praising it as being the greatest game ever. Obviously, I don't think it's the greatest game ever, but I think it's very good. Now, why only Halo and not the second two? I like both those games. They're both great games. But with the second one, and with Halo 3 especially, it was just reiterations. Maybe I was a little tired of the franchise by then. That's not necessary. Don't get me wrong. They're fantastic games. It's just that none of them affected me and had as much involved so much in my social life as Halo did. So Halo is definitely up there. And if you really are sore about it, you can put in parentheses Halo 2 and Halo 3. So there you go. All right, number 13 is World of Warcraft. That was released November 13th, 2004 in America. And in Australia first. Those are the first two regions to get it, and didn't go to Europe till later that same year. Or no, I think it didn't even go to Europe until 2005. But still, World of Warcraft is it's obviously not the first MMORPG. There's been others before it, namely Diablo. And it was the first. there's no competition, hands down no competition, as far as like getting a large number of people together and playing just one game. There's so many people, like millions of people play this game all the time, and people waste away from this game. I remember hearing a news story about this kid who suffered from malnutrition because he played the game straight for like 30-something hours. It's nuts. And which goes to show you that people really like World of Warcraft. Unfortunately, I no longer have a subscription. It got a little expensive for me, and I kind of want to experience kind of new gaming experiences. And when I jumped on the bandwagon, a lot of my friends had already jumped off, and it was really kind of lonely. And like the way I think 70% of the fun that you can glean from that game is by doing stuff with friends, especially once you get into upper levels and leveling isn't as much of a concern of yours. The end game has to be social, otherwise it's going to be boring. And that's one downside of the game, but you cannot ignore World of Warcraft whatsoever. Even if you don't play it, even if you diss anybody who's ever touched that game, you cannot deny that World of Warcraft is like a revolutionary step in bringing people together to play a game. Absolutely great community. Obviously, there's going to be assholes. There's always assholes online. So that can't be a real complaint, but World of Warcraft is, without a doubt, like one of the biggest steps, I think, in online gaming. That's what I think. Alright, number 12 is Super Mario 64. That came out for the Nintendo 64 on September 26, 1996, then came out later on the Virtual Console for the Wii, November 19, 2006. They also did a DS version. I didn't get that release date, I don't know why. Super Mario 64 is, without a doubt, one of the greatest games on the Nintendo 64. It is like one of the defining 3D platformers of that generation. It had its camera issues, but that's like when you look at Nintendo 64's platformer, like all the platformers, they all have camera issues, so that's not even a problem. But I remember Super Mario 64 as being one of the first games I played for the system, not necessarily one of the first ones I got. I loved that game. I absolutely loved it, and over the time I've grown to appreciate it more as like seriously a big step in gaming. I think Game Informer put it on its top 25 most influential games of all time, I think. Because it was the first game, effectively, to take the Mario franchise and put it into true three-dimensional world and make 3D platforming work with one of the games, probably gaming's most recognizable character. And they kind of did the 3D thing with Super Mario RPG, but that's not really 3D. That's just kind of like a top-down look, and it looks like not really 3D. Kind of like how Sonic 3D Blast isn't really 3D, those of you who aren't familiar with Super Mario RPG. But Super Mario 64 is a spot-on game. There's very little complaints that I could have for it. I know it's on the top of a lot of people's lists for greatest games. Unfortunately, it's only number 12, so that means I think 11 games are better than it. That's just my opinion, though, and, shoot me if you want to. But I'm going to put a link in the description. I don't know why I'm doing this. But it's for Durden77 Super Mario 64. Let's play. It's great. When he posts. Just kidding. But everyone's seen Durden, so I don't even know why I'm going to put him in there. But I'm going to. And finally, number 11 on this list is BioShock. That came out for the Windows and Xbox 360, August 21st, 2007. And then came out for PlayStation 3, October 21st, 2008. BioShock is, I think it's probably the highest the 360 games go on here. At least like a standalone Xbox 360 game. BioShock is absolutely amazing. I think, because of the variety that you can approach every single situation with. You see an enemy, you have, 6 different kinds of guns that all have, 3 different kinds of ammo. You got the wrench, for you just want to do a nice melee attack, and then you have these plasmids, which is stuff you can shoot out of your hands, from, fire to ice to electricity to telekinesis to bees. It's just absolutely one of the most immersive games ever, and I love the surroundings. It's like an alternate reality 1960s kind of era, and you're in this underwater like dystopia that's totally been destroyed by its own creators' whacked out view on reality. And I don't have enough time to talk about how awesome it is, but it's so cool. I feel like I can't do it justice with words. BioShock is really an amazing game. Totally awesome. And it definitely is the best game of 2007. Hands down. Okay, well, that's all I have for you today. Thanks for watching. This has been Griffinlobster. Catch you later.